Hi and welcome. I'm delighted to sit at the piano at the request of Shirley, who is brilliantly taking that option of writing her own music for the exam. Now Shirley is working at TRINITY's Grade 2, so I'm going to throw some ideas your way. Before we do, we ought to just take a look at the syllabus to see what we're meant to be doing. This is from page 16. I'm not going to leave it up long enough, so pause it if you wish to. And here is an extract from specifically the Grade 2 syllabus. Okay, so let's assume that you've had time to read that. Let me tuck in now. I think the first thing we need to do is to put some sort of structure on the thing that you're going to create. Just writing in the void is very tricky. And it needs to be, I don't know, about 16 to 30 bars long. And the most common form of structure is A, B. Chunk of music at the beginning, chunk at the end. Perhaps even more common would be an A, B, A structure, where the A may be slightly different second time round. I would also advise you to try and tell a story or have a mood, have something in mind to give the whole piece a focus. Give it a title from the outset, for example. Now then, Shirley mentioned she was thinking of being in the key of D. So the key of D is here. Is she going to, there's the chord just to help our ears along, is she going to write a piece at the keyboard, or is she going to write it away from the keyboard? Are we more creative with our melody writing, for example, if we're not stuck at the keyboard? The temptation is, as pianists, our fingers will just naturally fall on some notes and we will serendipitously find a tune. Whereas, isn't it better to think of it actually in our heads first and then work out what the notes were? Things for you to explore. But now, I'm at the piano, so this is the way I'm going to do it for now. Let's have a think. Here's our D chord. A good way in might be, for the melody part of it, to think of using just the pentatonic scale. That's numbers 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6. Let's have a try. Ignore that, I'm just going to stay on my D chord. There's one phrase. So repetition is good. So I'm using similar rhythm but different notes. We could use all the notes of the scale, of course. Let's try that. Register. That is the register for the human voice, isn't it? I'll go up a bit higher, of course. Our sopranos and our trebles sing there. So that is where melodies sit in that zone very comfortably, and chords tend to sit comfortably down here. Now, it's 2019. That was very easy listening, if you like. Why don't we deliberately throw in some wrong notes? There's D major. I'm going to play that one. Instantly the mood changes and it becomes more questioning, doesn't it? Don't be afraid of wrong notes. Let's move on to some harmony ideas. That's the chord of D major, isn't it? What other chords, major chords, have a D in them? Well, the chord of G does. And the chord of G is in our scale of D major. But there's another one, isn't there? The B flat chord has a D in it. That creates quite an interesting thing. I move from a D chord to a B flat chord. That's an interesting sound. We could try and play in a mode. Let me stay there, but I'm going to flatten the second note. We can get some crunches in. We could think of making it D minor. Now I was playing some block chords there, but should our accompaniment perhaps have more of a flowing feel to it? Should it have a 3 beats in the bar thing? Should it have a waltz feel to it? Now these are all quite traditional ways of writing at the minute, but I hope that they are ways in. Perhaps the chord of the accompaniment idea will be in the other hand. There's our chord adding a 9th, or the 2nd, however you want to view it. Can be quite effective. That sort of ripply thing can work well. I was looking at chords there and the scaly bits as well. I wouldn't underestimate the difficulty of actually notating all of this as well. You're going to have to produce some sort of score for the examiner. Whether you use a computer program or do it by hand, working out ideas and then actually writing them down, it is very tricky. And if you have any difficulties with that, please don't hesitate to come and ask me. I hope that little conversation has been useful. We've talked about structure. We've talked about ways into creating melody, telling a story with our music. We've talked about harmony, chords, and Shirley, if you want to come back to me at any point, please feel you can, and I'd love to see how your piece is progressing. Do send it to me. Bye-bye for now.